So being a perfectionist is killing your personal brand. And I'm able to say this because this is something that I've experienced myself. So it's been almost a year since I've started posting content. I remember I posted the first piece of content last time I was in Mexico. So right now I'm in Mexico City. I got this nice little co-working area in my building. And when I made the decision to start posting content almost a year ago, I was living on some farm, some ayahuasca center in the middle of Mexico. That's a story for another time. And I remember coming up with my first idea. It took me a long time to come up with a first idea, what I considered worthy of posting. And then when I made the script, it took me like literally 2 days to come up with the script. It was like I was writing an English essay or something like that. And then recording it took me hours and hours of trying to get the right takes so I could post it without stuttering or thinking or missaying a word or something like that. And it was there was so much effort put into it, trying to make it perfect. And the whole process ended up taking days just for this one piece of content. And when you start posting content, of course it's going to take longer. Of course you're going to put more effort into it, stuff like that. But I think this mindset of being a perfectionist has really held back my personal brand over the past year. The amount of ideas that I've written down in my kind of idea bank is so high. There's hundreds of ideas, and I've posted such a small fraction of them because I've been such a perfectionist. I think, is this idea good enough to post? What will people think about it? Is this demonstrating my expertise well enough? Is there a part of myself that I'm scared of showing, or do I just even maybe think it's a stupid idea when I look at it a couple days in the future, right? But the main insight that I'm having right now is that it would have been so much more beneficial for me to actually just post every single idea, the good ones, the bad ones, the amazing ones, the ones that are just kind of like meaningless. It would have been more beneficial for me to post every single one of those than it would for me to do what I did, which was be a crazy perfectionist, always try to post the best ideas. And honestly, it doesn't even fully benefit you. I think that by trying to be a perfectionist, by having an idea, trying to script it properly, trying to say it perfectly on camera and all of that, kind of dilutes yourself into something a bit inauthentic. And I like this authenticity. When I watch other people, I like to see people. I love great ideas and stuff like that, but what really gets me interested is when someone can just turn on the camera and talk. And this isn't something that I've really allowed myself to do because I've thought that content always needed to be something so perfect. And, there's this saying in the mindfulness world, in the meditation world, that goes that the only bad meditation is the one that you didn't do, right? So it doesn't matter if you're having a pleasant experience or an unpleasant experience, or you're focused or you're distracted or anything like that. That's not a bad meditation because you did it and you're training your mind and you're getting better. And I think that this same idea applies to posting content, because the only way that you can get better at it is through iteration. You can't sit around trying to think of all the perfect ideas, trying to come up with this crazy roadmap of how you're gonna post content consistently and all of this stuff. Obviously strategy helps. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. But what I am saying is that you can't get better by theorizing about it. And this is something that I've noticed myself doing, especially the past couple weeks, because I've realized how important it is to actually go all in on building this personal brand. And I've just felt kind of lost, a little bit of a lack of clarity in terms of what should I post and how often should I post and all of this. But at the end of the day, the only bad piece of content is the one that you didn't post. And I think this is a really important mindset to have, because if I would have posted every single one of the ideas that I've had over the past almost year or so, I would have built up such a larger audience. I would have had so much more genuine connection, would have been able to look back on so many pieces of content, actually documenting my life and what I'm going through, and feeling comfortable enough to share that without the fear of what people would think or something like that. And it would have just been overall valuable if I would have just followed this mindset of massive imperfect action and just output. And Hormozy has this quote of volume negates luck. And I think that really, really applies here. So just to kind of wrap all this up, I've spent a lot of time thinking about content strategy, writing scripts, spending like an hour trying to record a 10-minute video because I want everything to be perfect. And although you can trick yourself into thinking that you're putting all this effort into creating such a great piece of content, I think that it might be counterproductive to a certain extent, because if I would have actually just been more imperfect and posted more content, first of all, I would have naturally got better by just iterating, just by doing more output and actually like putting in the work of posting the content instead of the work of thinking of ideas and writing scripts and saying that, oh, maybe this one isn't good to post or anything like that. I would have just gotten so much better, first of all. And second of all, my brand would just be so much better, plain and simple, right? And I noticed myself, it's just so counterintuitive. I would watch people online who kind of had this, authentic, just kind of, make a good video, feel comfortable speaking on the camera. Maybe they need to stutter and restate something. Maybe their thoughts aren't a perfectly structured essay, like I always try to think of it. But these are the types of people that I like to watch. And then for some reason, I was thinking that for me to do content, I had to make it something so hard and come up with this crazy ideation process and then this script process to make everything perfect and demonstrate myself as an expert and make everything just so much more complicated than it really needs to be. So the main idea of this video is that in a year, looking back at when you started your personal brand, you won't be thinking about, wow, I wish I just put more effort into this one video. You'll look back on it and think, why didn't I post more? And that's what happened to me. That's the situation I'm currently in. And I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Even though I'm making this video about not being a perfectionist and just posting it and not really putting way too much thought into it, I've recorded this video. I've made a lot of takes into this video, but I'm trying to overcome this mindset of perfectionism, of having a perfect script written out and everything like that, and just being able to turn on the camera and post it. Because volume negates luck, once again, as Hormozy says, and people like it. I like it. I know you guys like it when people just talk to the camera and they're not like a robot reading off of a script. And I've fallen victim to this in the past, right? So, if you're thinking about how to build a personal brand or something like that, just push it out there. I know this is such cliche advice, but I really mean it. The only way you get better at this is through iteration. So you need to iterate. You need to post a lot of videos. You don't need to sit there for hours trying to think of the perfect idea, right? So this is a message to the past version of myself, and you might be in the situation that I was in. So I hope it helped you. And have a great night.